the book talk community toxic? What do you think? What is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today, honestly, I was feeling rather lazy. I was feeling zero creative energy. I had no ideas for what I wanted to film. I'm like, let's do another Q&A video because I've actually never done a solo Q&A on here. I've done 2 with my besties. So I'm like, let's do a solo one and we'll chit chat. There's so many questions. So I haven't decided if I'm gonna do 2 parts to this or just make one long video. We shall see. But yeah, sit back, relax, get a snack, get a sweet treat, get something. I have no idea. I have a something. I decided I'm gonna garden a little bit for this. I'm having a little THC cocktail from Nowadays. It's lemonade flavored. These are so good. I'm like, I'll garden and I'll answer your questions. I'm so excited. Guys, I'm also currently deep in the throes of Red Rising. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my fucking God. God tier, changing my life. My brain is altered. Like, it's good that I'm taking a break right now because I simply could not, I haven't been doing anything. I haven't been productive. I haven't felt this way about a book. Like, I haven't felt this way since I read Onyx Storm this year. Anyway. All of these questions are on Instagram on my phone, which is why I will be looking at my phone this whole time. I'm gonna be so real with you. I haven't looked at a single one of these. I'm just going in blind. I'm gonna try and answer questions that I haven't answered before in my last Q&As. There's so many. First one is, what's your least favorite trope and why? I was literally just talking about this with Jack. There's obviously a few exceptions for everything. Mine is love triangle. I'm actually pretty vocal about this. Like, there are definitely exceptions to this. Like, Magnolia Park's my favorite series ever. I don't even want to call it a love triangle. It's just so messy and there's multiple love interests, but it's not a traditional love triangle, which is, I'm talking about like a classic love triangle. Now, I'm not talking about Damon and Stefan Salvatore. That's an exception, okay? I hate when there's an obvious choice. That's the first reason why I hate the love triangle, is like, I feel like it is such a waste of time and a waste of a character to just throw them in as like a useless device, like a useless third party person to add more tension to the other couple when you clearly know who's the winner is gonna be, and they just make the other one insufferable or just like unlikable. Then all of the angst is gone. All of the wondering is gone. Like, you just so clearly know who is gonna win. And for me, like, that's not fun. Like, I want to be obsessed with both love interests. This is what I love. Like, and this has been rarely done. So if you have recommendations when this is the case, I want to be so obsessed with both love interests to the point where then it's not even, you're like, it's not a love triangle. It becomes a why choose. Because if I'm so obsessed with both of them, I do not want to be choosing. So that's not love triangle, but that's what I want. Other reason why I would hate love triangles, which this actually does not happen often, but it has in the past, is when I love them both. And I'm like, you are going to give both of these great guys and you're going to make her choose one? Hate that. And then when I am wrong in a love triangle, if I pick wrong, I hate them. I hate them. I just hate them so much. I'm a love triangle hater. And this is a reason why I haven't been reading a lot of like the new romantasy releases, because I feel like there's so many love triangles and I just don't like them. So I'm sorry, I'm not. Like, that's also why, well, there are many reasons why I won't read or watch The Summer I Turned Pretty, but I just can't read something where it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna hate a character for how long? How many people hate, I already hate Jeremiah. I haven't even read the books, I haven't watched the TV shows, and I hate him just because of my TikTok For You page. I don't have to read about him for an entire book, multiple books, no thank you. Okay, multiple people want me to do a tattoo tour, and I'm just planning on doing a quick YouTube video going through all of my tattoos. Like, I want people to sit here, so it probably won't be that quick. I wanna talk about like the meaning behind them, because I have a bunch of bookish tattoos. So I'm gonna do that. And I also need to change, I would need to change my camera lens and I would need to change my tripod in order to be able to like show you them in a way that does them justice. So that will be coming. Maybe I'll just do that next week. That'd be fun. When will I see Larry and Yana again? Guys, Larry and Yana are coming to visit me very soon, the last week of August. Yeah, I'm so excited. I miss them so much. The end of the year is busy for all of us. And Yana's been planning her wedding. So like, that's why like, Yana's been traveling so much, been so busy with planning her wedding. So we're so excited that all 3 of us can get together. What are the top 5 books that changed your life? Oh my God. First one, Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. I can't even think about that without feeling nauseous. Onyx Storm, without a doubt. Honestly, what I just read, Golden Sun from the Red Rising saga, I still am like feeling the lingering effects of that. Kingdom of Ash, of course. Wait, this is so hard. Releasing 10, but there's more. There's so many more. Like I feel like I can't just pick 5. If I actually sat on that and thought about it, I would go insane. So those are just the first ones that come to my head, but there's multiple books that have changed my life. What's your favorite book, like all-time favorite, the one that you can read 24/7 and never get bored or tired of? I cannot pick just one book, but I would say like one of my favorite books of all time is Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. But here's the thing. I can't reread that over and over again because it kills me inside. Like it makes me dead inside of how much pain it puts me in. So there's that. Same with Onyx Storm. Can't reread that over and over again. But if there is a book that I could reread and never get tired of, I'm trying to think of what that would be. All of my favorite books hurt me emotionally, like so badly. Maybe the Mindfuck series. That I could reread over and over again. And like Nocticadia, yeah. How did I start book talk? What inspired me? Ooh, I love that because I started book talk in April of 2024. So a little over a year ago. And I just started it because I simply wanted to be able to talk about books with people. I had nobody to talk about books with. I obviously, like, I was a consumer of book talk and I was like, I don't care. I don't care if anyone wants, if just one person can interact with me and talk about books and share a love for books, that's all I'm looking for. And so that's why I started. And I feel like something that I like will always hold true to myself is I'm so passionate about reading. And I like to think that that can come across in like my reviews and stuff. Even when I don't like books, like I'm very passionate about it. I just feel so strongly about books and I needed an outlet to be able to scream about them. Like I could not keep all of the emotions like shoved down inside of me. Asriel and Elaine or Asriel and Gwen. So this is from ACOTAR, like what couple I would like to see in the newest ACOTAR book. So here's the thing, first and foremost, I'm an Asriel girly. He is like number 7 or 6 book boyfriend. He doesn't even have a book yet. And he is my favorite SJM man next to Dorian, okay? So I am team Asriel. I want Asriel to be happy. I will be happy with him going with Gwen or Elaine. I love both of their characters. I love Elaine, I love Gwen, which makes it very, very brutal out here because the ACOTAR fandom is absolutely insane. And so like people cannot just allow people to do things without having an issue with it. I don't understand it at all. But I do personally lean more towards Elaine and Az. And I only think that's because I feel like I've gotten more of them. Like I think that's the only reason why. And I love them both. And I feel like I need a little bit more Gwen. So my preference is towards Elaine and Asriel, but I could also totally see him with Gwen. And I know I would love that too. My fear, so does that answer that? Okay, I don't know. My fear is that I feel like the next book is gonna be Elaine. So if she's not with Asriel, that means I don't know how long I'm gonna have to wait for another Asriel book. That is just, yeah, that haunts me a little bit. How do you edit your videos? So for YouTube videos, I use Adobe Premiere Pro. So I edit there. And then for any of like my TikTok short form video, I use CapCut. Oh, what is my favorite bookish tattoo? Oh my God, that's so hard. I don't know if I could pick between, I said Daisy Hates the Great Undoing is my favorite book, like one of my favorite books. I have The Great Undoing tattooed on my arm next to a daisy for Daisy Hates. That might be it. What are your God tier fantasy series? So I read fantasy romance. I want to get my toes wet in like high fantasy, but my God tier fantasy romance series, I have a list, are Throne of Glass, of course, Zodiac Academy, Crescent City, all SJM books, ACOTAR, the Legacy series, so the first book is Reign of Shadows and Endings, Gods and Monsters series, so the Book of Asriel is the first book, the House of Devil series, with the first book is City of Gods and Monsters, Fourth Wing, of course, the Empyrean series, of course, I'm basic. Guys, like I'm basic. War of Lost Hearts trilogy, so first book is Daughter of No Worlds. Oh, so good. And then Fairytale is not really fantasy, it has fantasy elements in it. It's way more romance. Beginner dark romance rec. So I do have a whole YouTube video that's like a dark romance guide. So I have beginner recommendations, like I have everything there, but quick rapid fire off the top of my head. The Darkverse series by Runix, the Devil's Night series, the Mindfuck series, the Monster trilogy by Rena Kent. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. How did I meet Jack? Guys, Jack and I met on Hinge. Yeah, we are a Hinge success story. I also messaged him on Hinge, and it was just like immediately. Like I just knew. Like I just knew right away. And it's so interesting because like I had not been in a relationship for I think 4 years because I had a very abusive past relationship. So I just completely like wanted nothing to do with it. And then I dated for a little bit and I hated it. All of my friends were like, you have to like put yourself out there again. I'm like, oh, I don't want to. And then I met Jack and it was just 5 years later, here we are. How tall am I? I'm 6 feet tall, guys. I'm gigantic. I am very tall. Will I film a Fourth Wing Theory video? No, I'm not that girl. I have like loose ideas in my head. I'm really not a theorizer. Like I will theorize like as I'm reading, like I will make predictions, but after I read, like I don't sit and theorize, one, because I stress myself out. Like I like to let the book happen as it happens. I don't want to have any preconceived like notions and then be let down. Like I spiral. I genuinely can't handle it. Like I'm already like any book I would want to theorize about, so to say, I don't really have a desire to theorize. But if I did, it would be a book that's like probably one of my favorites. And then I would just start getting emotionally just too invested in it and start freaking out about it. So I choose to just vibe through it. I love just letting books happen as they happen. And I think making like loose predictions and like having thoughts as you go is different from like deeply theorizing. So I just like, and I love like so many of my friends like love theorizing. And like, I will like sometimes to listen to theory videos because I think I'm like, wow, how'd you come up with that? I could never. I'm waiting for it to happen. My brain does not work that way. But then also some theory videos, I'm like, what do you even mean? How did you pull that out of nothing? Like, what are you talking about? So I won't make a theory video. Is the book talk community toxic? What do you think? Yes. It absolutely is. I mean, but not my book talk, not mine. So I try to make my space as safe as possible. Is it safe for me? No, but for you guys, yes. And that's what matters. Least favorite book of the year so far. I just did a mid-year book tag. So that will have like, if I don't get to your question, like that answers a lot of like favorite, least favorite, but just rapid fire, least favorite. I could think of, the first one I think of is The Ritual. I couldn't do it. It was just too spicy and zero romance that felt like romance. Like it just felt like lust. It was. What am I trying to say? The romance felt very surface level and it was just like too much spice and I felt zero connection to the characters. That's one. Favorite book, first one I think of is Onyx Storm. I think of that book all the time. So it haunts my life. First dark romance book I ever read, and have you watched The Vampire Diaries? So first dark romance book I read was Corrupt, the first book in the Devil's Night series. I am obsessed with that series. I will always recommend it. And it's one of my favorite dark romance series. And then of course, I've watched The Vampire Diaries. I am a originals girly. I prefer the originals over Vampire Diaries. I'm a Klaus girly. Klaus is my favorite, but I'm also a Damon girly. I love Vampire Diaries, ride or die. I've rewatched it so many times. I'm actually watching the originals with my boyfriend right now. I'm making him watch it and he hasn't seen Vampire Diaries. How do you get into other genres? I can't seem to get hooked onto fantasy. Okay, I love this question. As someone who literally read Rising, this is my first sci-fi series. I mean, The Hunger Games is sci-fi, right? Like dystopian sci-fi. This is my first like sci-fi series in quite some time. As someone who mainly reads like dark romance and fantasy romance, one of my goals this year was to branch out and expand in terms of genres. I just like say, even if you feel like you tried one, like you mainly read romance and you try fantasy and it didn't stick with you, like it didn't work, I just say keep trying to find one that works. Definitely, if you mainly read romance, going into fantasy romance, I think is a great transition before you get into like high fantasy, because you are still getting the romance plot points, and there are a lot of like heavily romance-based romantasy books. So that would be my recommendation, to not just like start cold turkey, like completely switching, but if there is a genre that can be a good segue, that can be really helpful. But for me, what happened was, I've been in a slump all year, and yes, I had the goal to expand my genres, but I haven't really been doing that. It's easier said than done, I think. And so I have not been able to read romantasy. It has not been hitting. for whatever reason, I just can't, I don't like it. It all feels the same. It's not working. So I've just been going back and forth between reading so much dark romance and like sprinkle in a romantasy here and there. And I got to a point where I was just so fed up. I was like, I need to completely switch gears. I need to try something completely different because I've just felt so slumpy. That's what I did. And now I'm reading sci-fi and I'm obsessed, but I don't know if that helped. Favorite Taylor Swift song? Oh God, guys, this is gonna be very, very telling. It's really hard to pick a favorite, but LOML is absolutely my favorite. It is one of the saddest songs ever. It's like my go-to sad song. It makes me actually feel physical and mental pain, and something's wrong with me. So there you go. Are you planning to meet up again with the book girlies like in New York? So the group that I went to New York with, the besties, we have our group chat and everything. We were actually just talking about this. We are planning to do another trip where all of us can get together because it's so hard with schedules for all of us to like line up. But the beginning of next year, we want to get like a cabin somewhere like in the winter and just like do a little book trip, get a little cabin. So hopefully that happens. We just have to make sure all of our schedules align. Fuck, marry, kill. Zayden, this is so rude. Zayden, Darian Castle, Lance O'Ryan. Those are my top 5 book boyfriends. You're gonna make me choose. Zayden is number 1, Darian Castle is number 2, and I think Lance is number 5. Lance is number 4! That is so rude. So I feel like I would marry Zayden, of course. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I'm not choosing. I'm not answering that because I have free will. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I would F both of them. Is there a possibility of us seeing you as an author? No. Negative. Absolutely, absolutely not. I have a very math and science driven brain. I have always loved to read all of my life growing up. That's kind of been my more if I could think of creative outlet, reading and cooking. Like even growing up, I love to cook. That's how I use my creative brain. But when it comes to, and I guess creating content is how I use my creative brain, of course. But writing like that has always been my weakest point. Any sort of anything that has to do with writing anything is not, my brain just does not work that way. So no, you'll not catch me doing that. I've also talked about this a lot before. I have aphantasia. So I don't see pictures in my mind. Like I close my eyes and it's just black. I don't visualize anything. Growing up, I didn't find this out that was a thing, like that people could see pictures in their mind. I didn't know that until like 3 years ago. So people ask like, well, how do you love reading if you do that? It kind of goes 50-50. Some people like still, obviously me, still love reading, still like love it so much. Some people have a really hard time reading because they can't visualize anything. All of my other like senses are very heightened. So you can use your imagination in different ways. That's besides the point. All of that to say, it would be very hard for me, I feel like, to write something if I can't visualize it. Like I can't just, if I can't visualize the story I want, like if I can't see the world and stuff, I would struggle. Could I do it? Yes, but do I want to? No. And then also it would just be awful. You guys, it would be awful. So someone asked for my hobbies other than reading, cooking. I have a full like food account that I do like content creation on for, TikTok and Instagram. So I love to cook. I've always loved to cook. And that's been like an outlet for me for so long. Going to the gym. Is the gym a hobby? Like Pilates. I love to walk. I love to walk my dog, spend time with my dog. Other than that, I feel like I'm boring. I don't feel like I have any other hobbies. I feel like I don't. Is traveling a hobby? I love to travel. I like to stay inside. I don't like doing much. Like I don't like go. I love to travel, but I don't like leaving my apartment. Like I'm very introverted. So it takes very little to make me like satisfied. So those are my hobbies. There you go. What would you do if you lost the ability to read and you couldn't listen to audiobooks? I would fling myself out the window is what I would do. I have no idea. I have not a thought in my mind. It would just be over for me, I guess. How do you put yourself out there, YouTube, etc.? I try and my anxiety goes into overdrive. Ooh, this is a good question. As someone who has anxiety, I feel like for me, you have to want it and you have to understand what comes with the territory because not everyone is going to like you. That is never something that is ever going to happen. There are going to be people that don't like you. There are going to be people that judge you. There are going to be people that think they know you. There are going to be people that talk about you, and you have to understand that and you have to let it go. You have to let it go and you have to just be yourself. And if that makes you happy, being yourself, talking about something you're passionate, feeling like creating content is fulfilling some sort of need for you. This is my full-time job. So it becomes something where, yes, there are things I have to do, but also like as a whole, being a content creator and like wanting to create, you have to want to do it and you have to feel like it is fulfilling you in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, you're just gonna fall down this hole of the comparison trap, trying to pull influence from other people and be something that you're not, worrying too much about opinions that don't matter, getting caught up in this endless loop of self-doubt when really you should just be creating and just doing. And it's impossible to not be affected by people. That's not at all what I'm saying. People are like, how do you not let the hate get to you? There are times where it does get to me. I never let the hate influence my judgment of myself. I always go back to who I am, what I know, how I am flawed, where I've done right, where I've done wrong, and have stayed really true to that. And that has allowed me to keep going even when people don't want me to keep going. So I don't know if that helped at all. I really don't know. How am I actually doing? And how's my dog too? I love that question. Thank you for asking. This is crazy because I am making this YouTube video the day after I just got diagnosed with bipolar disorder 2, which has been really interesting for me in my adult life because since I was 11, I started therapy and have been in and out of therapy on and off medications for my anxiety and my OCD and my ADHD. And then in like late high school, I got diagnosed with depression. So I have been like, my mental health has always been something that's constantly being worked on. I'm constantly trying to understand. I'm constantly doing things to make sure that I can live as a fulfilled life as possible. Doing that for so long, thinking I understand my mental stability, mental well-being, mental ailments, and then finding out that I've actually been misdiagnosed with depression has been really interesting for me. And now I'm just like trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to go on medication, how I want to treat it. Because my whole life, like antidepressants never worked. And now I understand why. That makes sense. But I am no stranger to like medications. I've been on the same OCD and ADHD medications for so long. They've worked great. But now I'm at a point where I just don't know. So I'm confused mentally. It makes you question a lot of things because I've been thinking a lot about how things could have been easier if I understood myself better. But I never like to worry about the what ifs too much because I can't do anything about that. But at the same time, it's also kind of like this weight lifted off my shoulder because so much makes sense to me now. And I feel like I have so much clarity about my mental health and how to go about now, like treating when I'm really struggling versus I used to just feel like I was floating away in the water with no direction. That's been really nice. So always keep working on your mental health. Just because you've found a medication that works, you aren't in a bad state of mind, like your mental illnesses are still always with you. And as you grow, as you learn, as you experience new things, you're going to discover new things about yourself. Or things may surface that you never really considered a problem in the past. So that's been really interesting, long story short. But other than that, I've been doing so much better. There was a point where I was like really low, but I have such a good support system. And even when I'm at my lowest, I just will always look back on things that I've overcome and I cannot let all the work that like my younger past self did be for nothing. That's where we're at. I'm feeling okay right now. And I'm feeling like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Mental health struggles are never ending, but I do feel like I'm getting some power back and taking back some control, which is so nice. I just kind of alluded to this, but someone just asked, is social media your full-time job? This is my full-time job. So YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and I have my food account as well. So that's like my main space is the food. And I also have a health and fitness podcast. So that's also part of my job as well that I do with my co-host, Tony. Yeah, that's my full-time job. I got my master's degree in nutrition science, biochemical and molecular nutrition. And here we are now. I'm just always constantly figuring it out, and I will be for the rest of my life. A lot of people are asking for like my favorite book series. I just read off some like my god tier fantasy romance books. My favorite series though, like Magnolia Parks, Boys of Tommen, Zodiac Academy, Throne of Glass, like Fourth Wing. Those are my ride or dies. Like, and I'm sure there's more. Hang on. But yeah, if I had to pick one series, it would be Magnolia Parks. If I had to pick one, gun to my head, it would be Magnolia Parks. Someone just asked how I'm keeping sane in this space. I take control of my For You page. So like when I find stuff on the Book Talk or any part of social media that is not making me feel good, I click not interested. I take the 2 seconds to go into that video and hit not interested so it doesn't show up more. And I make sure that I am constantly engaging and liking things that make me feel good. It is so crazy how anytime there is a controversy on Book Talk, I'm involved in a controversy, it is not something that is ever on my For You page. I am never engaging in any of it. I am not looking at it. I do not let it feed into my brain more than it needs to. So it's that constant repetition of anything that makes you not feel good is just going to ruin you. It's going to ruin you. That's what I mean. Like when I say like my For You page of Book Talk is so positive and so happy and so light and great because that's what I engage with. And anytime I see something that doesn't make me feel good, I hit not interested. I protect my peace. Something that people think is controversial about me too is like, if you are bringing hate to my space, if you are openly being very, very hateful towards me in my world, so I don't care what you do, what you say in your world, but mine, I'm blocking you. Block. I'm not afraid of the block button. And I will always think it's crazy for people who judge creators for doing that, for protecting their peace. Like it's not your page. So yeah, I will block and I will disengage and I will keep going on. I always remind myself on social media that I know me. I know me. I know when I make mistakes. I know when I need to hold myself accountable. I know when I don't make mistakes. I know when I am not the type of person that people say I am. I know when people are spreading lies about me. I know when people are just trying to say things to be a part of a hateful conversation and spread more hate. I know my values, my character, my morals. I will never, ever in a million years let a stranger on the internet tell me who I am. Never, never, never. And that keeps me going because if anything, in any point at life, if you let hate determine who you are from someone who does not know you, you are never going to survive. Ooh, what's a reading genre that you haven't tapped into, but you're considering it? High fantasy. I'm reading sci-fi right now, and I love that. So like, that's been something I wanted to tap into more. I really want to get into like Brandon Sanderson. I want to read his books so bad. So that's coming. That's on the forefront. I'm going to do it. Ooh, someone just said they love my nails and they asked about them. So guys, hang on. I'm obsessed with my nails right now. So these are my natural nails. You could see like the whites. I've always had long nails, so they're my natural nails. I get builder gel. It just keeps your nails a lot stronger, but I do builder gel manicures. Oh, I actually love this question. Thoughts on all of these authors getting traditionally published in the middle of their series? It's so funny because I just saw that another book was getting traditionally published that I'd been seeing a lot of people reading. What was it? I haven't read it yet. The Wolf King. It's getting traditionally published. And this happens to me all the time. It just happened I was reading On Wings of Blood and it's getting traditionally published. Nothing makes me happier like for these authors, these indie authors that bust their fucking asses. They do literally almost everything themselves, work so hard with nobody, and them getting picked up from a traditional publisher. That is life-changing. That is absolutely life-changing. First thing I feel is excitement and joy for the author. So happy for them, especially if I know the author or we've messaged in the past when I'm reading their books, like with On Wings of Blood, I was messaging the author back and forth about how much I love it. And so like when I found out she was getting traditionally published, reach out to her and I'm like, congratulations, like you are so deserving. Like, because that is huge. That is huge. I'm not an author, but I know there's definitely some indie authors who want to stay indie, but I also know there's a lot of authors that like, they can only hope to get picked up by a traditional publisher. So that's the first and main thing that I feel. Main thing. I don't fully understand the publishing industry. I do get confused and don't fully understand when, say, this is in the middle of a series and this indie author is like, the next book, the third book in the series is coming out in 2 months. They've had that publication deadline set up and then they get picked up by a traditional publisher and the newest book now isn't coming out for like a year and a half. Obviously, that's anyone's reading like, oh, dang it. Like that's frustrating, but like, it's not about me. This is not about me. But I am more confused because that doesn't always happen. There will be series, for example, the Legacy series that I'm reading just got picked up by a traditional publisher. And the fourth book was supposed to come out in November and it's still coming out in November. So I don't fully understand how that works. It all depends on contracts and things. But yeah, that will never make sense to me if they've already got the book like ready to go and it's going to be released soon. And then you have to wait another year and a half for it. I think that's interesting. And then also like changing the covers midway through series is just frustrating for anyone. Like there are so many authors that they will still release the traditional published version. I know money is a factor, but like I need all my spines to match. I need all my books to match. So that's just personally, I'm like, oh, dang it. Now I have another unfinished series. But for the most part, like 95%, so happy. Think it's amazing. Do I ever compare my book boyfriends to my boyfriend? This is so funny. Because whenever like Jack and I are like joke fighting, like not actually fighting, I'm like, I'll just like look at him and be like, well, you're not Zayden. And so I don't think you have any say here. Like Zayden would never, it's a joke. We are sarcastic with each other. I do not compare. I feel like comparison, people would think of that in a negative light. The only time I'm comparing is when it's like, I don't even think comparing is the right word. It might be. But when I will be reading about an MMC and they remind me so much of Jack, I've like said this before, I'll always like text Jack. And like when I was reading like certain quotes from The Conditions of Will, Sam Penny reminds me a lot of Jack. And I would send him quotes that like he would say and I'd be like, this is exactly what you would say to me. Like, and so I'll tell him and let him know that. And like, I'll be thinking about it. When I read, Kiss the Sky, Connor Cobalt reminds me a lot of Jack and I'll like let him know. But in terms of like, if I see similarities, I'm like, oh my God, that is so Jack. Jack does that all the time. I love that. But comparing in terms of being like, oh, like Jack is my own personal book boyfriend. So no, in terms of comparison, no, that never happens. Like it's never like I sit here and wish he did things or wish he did things like the guys in my books because he's my person. And so he does treat me how I deserve to be treated and how if I was reading a romance book, how I would want the FMC to be treated is how Jack treats me. So I don't know. Other than like in a joking manner, I mean, Jack's not 7 feet tall with shadow powers. So like, I don't really know how I could compare, and he doesn't have a dragon. So this is a great question. With so many unfinished series, how do you remember what happened when the next book is out? So here's the thing. I literally just filmed a TikTok going through series that I'm in the middle of and whether or not I'm going to finish them. But it depends on how long it's been. If it's been so long, I will do a reread. I will do a reread beforehand. And typically, if it's my favorite, like if it's one of my most anticipated releases from one of my favorite series, I will always reread the series beforehand. If it's a book that I'm like, I liked this series and I want to read the next one, but I don't really want to reread it at all, because I don't do that with every series, I would just like kind of skim the most recent book. And then sometimes I just lose interest and I will never finish it. When did you get into reading? Have you always been a reader or did it come later in life? So like I said, when I was younger, I loved to read. I loved to read like all those classics like Hunger Games, Divergent. What else did I have in my book? Twilight. Like I always had my face in a book like that. In high school, once I started to get into sports, get busier, I would still read, but I wouldn't read as much. And then in college, I was a exercise science major, biology minor, working as a research assistant, and I was also working at a cafe. So I was really fucking busy. So I didn't have time to read for fun, which was really unfortunate, except for on like over vacation time and over the summer, I would read. So that's kind of the trajectory of my reading life. Coming into it later, really after I finished grad school. So I know I have a few questions like asking me what I did. I did grad school. I did biochemical and molecular nutrition. So that was also really busy. And then after, I just had more time and I got back into reading again. And the book that got me back into reading is ACOTAR. So it will always have a special place in my heart. I know that's very basic, but there is a reason why so many people love it and why it gets so many people into reading. And I love that. I love that so many people could share that experience about a series and about a book. I don't care if I'm basic. I don't care if it's lower quality fantasy, whatever. I don't care. I love it. And it brought me back into this world that saved me. Reading saved me. Reading used to save me all of the time as a kid. It was where I put all of my anger. It was where I put all of my frustration. It's where when I was just didn't understand what my brain was doing. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know what I would read. When I was sad, I would read. When I was lonely, I would read. When I felt misunderstood, I would read. And so getting back into that as an adult, it's like I felt this loneliness that I didn't know how to fill the void of. Books filled that void and have given me this space to also understand myself more and feel so much less alone. And so that's where we are. Oh my God, this is such a fun question. Who would my book family be? So like pick a character for each family member, friend, etc. Okay, let's do it. So obviously my husband. Am I married yet? Oh, yeah, I'm married. I'm married to Zayden Ryerson. Who is going to be my bestie? Shannon Lynch would absolutely be my bestie because I have this like protective instinct when it comes to my friends, and I am going to like go to war for you. And so like usually like the people pleasers and the people who want to avoid controversy and conflict become my best friends. So I feel like Shannon Lynch would absolutely be one of my best friends. I also feel like Darcy Vega would absolutely want to be one of my best friends because I relate more to Tori. Like I feel like a lot of my friends have a lot of qualities of Darcy. I feel like now I want to pick all of them. I want Manon to be my bestie. I want Aelin to be my bestie. But I also feel like Manon and I would just absolutely wreak so much havoc. We'd probably butt heads too much because Alid would be my bestie. She is who I would gravitate towards. When I think about all of my best friends, like we also balance each other out as well. Who's gonna be my sister? Let's just make Aelin my sister. Aelin would be my sister because I can't think of anything better than having Aelin Galathinius as my sister. And then she could also be my bestie. Amazing. I love that. Oh, I also need my guy bestie. My guy bestie would be Seth Capella from Zodiac Academy, 110 million%. Seth and Riddick. Besties. Who would be my brother? Who would I have brotherly energy with? I also feel like Aelin would make a great sister too because we would bicker. We would bicker for sure. Who would be my brother? Who gives like brother, older brother? I'm the youngest, so I'm just thinking of like who would give me older brother energy. You know who would probably be my older brother? Not out of choice, but he reminds me a lot of my brother, BJ from Magnolia Parks. Yeah, he could be my brother. I feel like we'd be really close too because he's Don't worry, my brother does not watch my YouTube videos, so it's totally fine. Who would be my parents? Who would be mother and father? Oh my God. Who would be my parents? I feel like John and Adele would be the easy answer because we love them, but like I need to think of something more. They're from Boys of Tommen. I need to think of something more out of pocket. Oh, you know what? I feel like Rhysand would be my dad. Listen, I love Rhysand, but not like that. He's not book boyfriend for me. I would have a relationship with Rhysand like Nesta has a relationship with Rhysand. So I feel like he could be my dad. And then who could be my mom? And I'm thinking like mother. Who would be mother? Diana Martinez from Book of Azriel. There we go. Someone asked where I get my rings from. I have an aura ring, but then everything else, quite literally everything else, my bracelets, my necklaces, are from Flair Accessories because I do not take my rings off. And so they're waterproof and they're anti-tarnish and they don't turn your fingers green. Like I will beat the crap out of my rings for years and then I will get new ones. But Flair Accessories is amazing. I love them. Super affordable too. How do you read so many books at a time? So I never read more than 2 books at a time. Never. Right? Like it depends. Like sometimes I'll read 2 books at a time, but a majority of the time I'm only reading 1 book at a time. But it depends on like the types of books that I'm reading. So if I am reading a very fantasy heavy book, sometimes I will also just have like a contemporary romance book or a dark romance book going on at the same time. It has to be completely different genres. They cannot be the same and they have to be giving me different things or else I'll get confused. So that's how I do it. Who is one side character or couple from a completed series you wish had their own book? Manon and Dorian from Throne of Glass. They haunt me to the ends of the earth and they need their own series. They need it. And they are my favorite couple from Throne of Glass. And so I'm obsessed with them and I need more of them. No, I can't even. Are you and your boyfriend going to get married? So I have very non-traditional like wants and values. I could care less. I have never cared about marriage. That has never been, even since I was like a little girl, I never fantasized about my wedding. I never fantasized about like getting married. Never was something that I desired. I have always had the mindset of if it makes sense and it's like logistic wise, like need to do, heck yeah, like makes sense and like is what we should be doing. Yeah, then definitely. Like I'm not against getting married at all. And if Jack wants to propose, yeah, I would obviously say yes. I'm not anti-marriage at all. Like if he wanted to go to the courthouse right now and get married, I would be there. Like, I would literally marry him right now. I don't know if that makes any sense. But if I do get married, no, it will be an elopement. There will be no wedding. Absolutely not. I want nothing to do with that. Do you have a book that you recommend religiously? I'm always recommending Throne of Glass. Magnolia Parks I'm hesitant to recommend because it's not gonna be for everyone. Nocticadia, I'm recommending religiously. Book of Azriel, I am recommending religiously. The Mindfuck series, I am recommending religiously. Yeah. Will you be getting weekly vlogs from me? I'm so sorry. No, I do not have time. I do not have time to do that. If I did have time, I also don't like vlogging that much, so I'm sorry. Updated book boyfriend list, guys. It changes all the time. Like my top 15 right now, and this is what I haven't looked at it in a bit. So that is, if I think about it, I will change it. But that's what we have at the moment. If I could pick one MMC that describes Jack, it would be Connor Cobalt from the Calloway Sisters series. Connor Cobalt is very, very smart. I don't want this to sound weird. Like Connor Cobalt is like next, like IQ off the charts. Jack is also like a freaky genius. Like he's very, very smart to a level that like I can't even begin to understand. And I just say that objectively true. Like, do you ever meet people and you're like, that's insane? Like that's insane. And I feel like that's how like Connor Cobalt is very, very, very smart. Connor also cares so deeply about his family, but he's not quick to love. He will say whatever is on his mind, like exactly what he is thinking. You never really have to guess with him, and that's how Jack is. There are other reasons that I will not get into, but also like Connor and Rose's dynamic, especially. Like, so Rose is a character I relate to so much and see so much of myself in, especially like the OCD rep from her and her anxiety and her controlling tendencies and her fiery attitude. Like, she is a lot. And Connor just like loves her muchness. She's a lot, and Connor loves that. Like loves all of her like sharp edges. And so like how he is with Rose is a lot of like how Jack is with me, and we balance each other out that way. So yeah, Connor Cobalt. This question, following up, which fictional couple would you say represents your relationship with Jack the most? It would be Connor and Rose. Like absolutely, without a doubt. Oh, which fictional friendship would you say represents your friendship with Larry and your friendship with Yana? Oh, it has to be friendship? Because I was going to say like sister-wise, like I'm Rose and Larry would be Daisy. Friendship-wise, Johnny and Gibbsy? No, I'm just kidding. Manon and Alid. Shannon and Lizzie. For sure. We have said that before. We get that sometimes. Darcy and Tori. I feel like a lot of sisters, like their relationships remind, like Darcy and Tori, for sure. Like me being Tori and her being Darcy. Yeah. Oh, and then my friendship with Yana. Daisy Hates and Magnolia Parks. For sure. Yana being Magnolia Park. We've actually had this full conversation. Yana being Magnolia, me being Daisy. What are my favorite microtropes? Guys, I literally was just making a list of this the other day, because that's what I do in my fucking free time. Okay, classic is like an angry love confession. Like if it's in the rain, they're like fighting and she's like, why did you do that? And he's like, why do you think? Hard stop, because everything he did was for her. That. When the MMC is like very unfeeling, struggles with emotions, has never felt love, and then he starts to fall in love with her and he'll get chest pain around her. His like heart rate will accelerate and he literally thinks that he needs to go to a doctor. He's like concerned about it and he's stressed about it. He thinks he has a heart condition when really he just loves her. When she's like looking at something, whether it's a painting, the sunset or something, and she's like, oh my God, that's beautiful. And he's like, he agrees. He's like, I know. And he's staring right at her. If he has a secret tattoo that has been like for her, that she never even knew about, and he has it, and it's like for her, that also gets me. When, oh my God, hang on. Oh, tell me to stop. If it's like forbidden, or like they're enemies and like they're kissing or something, and he's like, tell me to stop. Or like they're about to kiss and he's like, tell me to stop. Oh, that gets me. Also, like accidental hand touching, like of a slow, painful burn where they can't be together and like they accidentally brush hands. Someone asked for my favorite quote. I don't have like a single favorite quote, but I will give you the passage of like the Great Undoing tattoo that I have. So from Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, what the Great Undoing, what that is from. I hate loving her. It's the great undoing of my heart as I know it. She's made herself at home, kicked off those cerulean heels, put her feet up on my left rib. Over the mantelpiece, she hung her own portrait up herself. That little minx. Best painting I've ever seen too. Better than any woman anyone has ever painted in the history of time. A face I'd win battles for. A face I'd lose anything for. Even her. And then I have so many favorite quotes from Magnolia Park, so we're not even gonna go into that because I'll start losing my mind. Best high fantasy series with the feeling of Throne of Glass and trauma. I don't read much high fantasy. Throne of Glass is definitely like fantasy romance, but more fantasy forward. I never really, like, I don't like to compare Throne of Glass to anything because you have to look at Throne of Glass, it's in a league of its own. Nothing is going to make you feel like Throne of Glass. Like, that's the honest truth. Like, I feel like if you liked Throne of Glass, I do feel like you would like the War of Lost Hearts trilogy. They're not the same. The first book is Daughter of No Worlds, but I do feel like you would really like it. It is traumatizing. It's only 3 books, so you don't get that level of attachment like you do with Throne of Glass. But like, I always feel like people who love Throne of Glass really, really love Daughter of No Worlds as well. But again, some people don't. Fourth Wing, like the Empyrean series, so different, but that level of like trauma and emotional investment, attachment to characters. Zodiac Academy, again, so different. And all of these are fantasy romance. So high fantasy, I don't have any recommendations for, but these are fantasy romance. Zodiac Academy as well. Oh my God, the trauma. Yeah. Recommendations for getting out of a reading slump. I just read through my slumps. I keep reading. Some people take breaks. I will read through them, and I will read the genre that is opposite the series or book that gave me the slump in the first place. Really switching gears, and then like also just not trying to find a book that is like your favorite books because nothing is going to compare, but like switching gears, reading something completely different, powering through it, like fun, easy reads. Like I was in a really bad slump and then I read Chestnut Springs by Elsie Silver. That was great. The Windy City series, like fun, just like giggly, kicking my feet romances will typically get me out of it, or like a crazy dark romance. Right now, sci-fi is getting me out of it. So Red Rising got me out of my slump. Someone says, as a fellow 6 foot tall girly, I just want to know, does it get any better? What do you mean, does it get any better? I love being tall. I've always been tall. So I feel like I've always been taller than everyone. So I don't really know. Like, of course there are annoying things, like when like people think it's just this like crazy thing, like of being tall. Like sometimes like, yeah, people pointing out my height is annoying. Like, yes, I know I'm tall. Like, I get it. I am 6 feet tall. But I also understand, like, for some people, they may not be used to seeing someone that tall. I just embrace it. What do you mean? Like, embrace those legs you've got. Embrace that height you got. I feel like there was never really a point where I cared about it. If someone had a problem with me being tall, I'd be like, that's literally none of my business. So yeah, I mean, Jack is 6'4", but like I have dated guys who are around like my height and shorter than me. I just embrace it. Does it suck to not be able to find clothes that like are long enough? Yeah. But like, I feel like just embracing it. Like, this is what you got. I am very like, this is the part of the cards that I was dealt, is being tall. So what am I going to do? I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. If you had to pick one thing, what makes your relationship with Larry so special? Larry is like my platonic soulmate, my sister. I feel like she was given to me when I needed her most. I would just say our unspoken understanding of one another, her unspoken understanding of me and vice versa. We understand each other so deeply to the point where you don't have to explain yourself. If you are a little bit absent in the friendship, like nothing is being taken personal. Like we understand each other so much without having to say a word. I don't know how to explain that, but if you have that relationship with someone, you get it. It's just like, if she's looking uncomfortable, like I know, she doesn't have to say anything. If I'm uncomfortable, she knows, no one has to say anything. Feel like a really good example of this is when I was visiting her in Milwaukee and we both got tickets to go to the Lumineers concert, and we get there and she keeps looking at me, and like, she knows that I struggle with like crowds and like large groups of people. And she keeps looking at me, and we're there, and she's just like, turns to me and she goes, "You want to leave?" I was like, "Yep." She's like, "Okay, let's go." No questions asked. We left before the concert even started. Didn't even have to. I don't know. That is, if I could give an example, that is that. When you DNF or don't like books, do you unhaul them? If so, what is your process in doing so? So I have spoken about this before. I don't know how to DNF. And that's not, and DNF is like do not finish. I genuinely wish I could DNF books. I have to, in my head, there's something that says you have to see this through. If you don't, I will end up picking it up and seeing it through. Like, I just have to see it through. So I really don't struggle with that because I will see a book through, unfortunately, I fear. But I do unhaul books every now and then. And what I do is first I will go to my local library and see if they'll accept them for donations, because sometimes they don't accept all books for donations. After that, I will go to my local bookstore and they have like a whole used book section, and I'll just donate them there. What FMC from a book do you feel like you resonate most with? I would say Nesta. for sure. I am a Nesta to my core. I completely understand that she's not a character. So Nesta from A Court of Silver Flames. I understand that she is not a character for everyone, and I don't expect her to be, but she is, for me, she is one of my favorite FMCs ever, and I relate to her so deeply, and so many of her flaws are a mirror to my own. I think when you are in such a dark place and you let anger take control of you, and a fear of love and not feeling worthy of love, so you push everyone away and you are the absolute worst version of yourself to keep people at a distance from you, that is something that not everyone can understand, and I hope you don't. And the pain of that just deep dark hole that Nesta was in, and like crawling out of it and having just her journey was so empowering to me, and I feel like she is my soul character. I also relate so much to Lizzie Young, not to mirror at all, but there are a lot of similarities. And it's really interesting because when I was reading about her in her head, this was before I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And so I just got diagnosed with it. I'm like, oh, it makes so much sense why there's so many more things that I can relate to and understand at such like a deep level. And I never really understood why. And so sharing that with her, and a lot of her pain and a lot of her trauma I can relate to. And then also Daisy Hates from Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. She is like, I feel like in a lot of ways a mirror to myself as well. So Zodiac Academy reading order, guys. I love being that. I go against the rules usually with things. Like I just do things. My mind gets set on something, like this is what I'm doing. So there's like a whole recommended like right way to read Zodiac Academy, because it has the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac, which is the prequel series that you're supposed to intertwine with it. I didn't want to do that. Once I started Zodiac Academy, I was so invested. I did not want to switch. So I just read all of Zodiac Academy all the way through. That's what I did. And I went back to Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac later. I will always recommend that because I didn't care that there were some minor spoilers for the prequel series. I didn't mind that at all. But I understand that like there is technically a best way to do it. Do whatever you want to do. Just read it. Do you ever receive pushback from publishers after giving reviews as a content creator? No, does that happen? What's my curly hair routine? Okay, guys, I have my like hair care products, I think, on Amazon. So I'll make sure I'll also add pictures. But I wash my hair, and then it's nothing extravagant. I don't do anything crazy, but I get it sopping wet. It has to be sopping wet. And I use 2 products. I use the something Pillow Soft Curls. Jessie's Pillow Soft Curl cream. Shampoo and conditioner doesn't really matter. I use like any curly hair or wavy / curly hair, because I have like wavy to curly hair. I don't know if my hair is curly or wavy. So I use the Pillow Soft Curls, and I will like use a lot of that and run it all through my hair and then scrunch it. And then I will use this like hair gel. I'll put it on the screen. I don't know what it's called, and put it in my hair and then scrunch it. And then I will diffuse my hair. You need a book with Mafia brothers. Oh, Sinners Anonymous series. Sinners Anonymous is so good. They're brothers. Twisted Emotions and Twisted Pride. They're brothers. Oh my God, Bratva series. The Bratva series. They're all siblings. Yep, do that. Oh my God, that's one of my new favorite Mafia romance series ever. Oh my God, so good. Or are you talking about like She's with 2 brothers? I've never read that and have no desire to, so I don't have any recommendations for that. Someone just goes, I know you don't like book to TV show adaptations. I love it when you guys know me. But which one would you like to see the most in your opinion? So if I'm like, it cannot be, the answer will never be anything like fantasy related, because it's just, I feel like it's so much more difficult to bring to life. I feel like Chestnut Springs though, I feel like I could love that. I feel like that'd be easy to do, and I would love to see that. But it could also go really, really wrong. That's the first thing I think of. We live together, so we see each other all the time, and we have our like date night once a week where we'll go out. We sit together at the table, and like it's a thing for us to, no technology, nothing. Every single night we sit down for a home cooked meal, except for our date night, or obviously if things come up. And we spend that time at dinner together, have the conversation, spend the quality time. Then we'll go and like maybe play a game. He teaches me how to play chess. So we'll either play a game of chess, we'll do some sort of activity together. Typically it's not watching shows, because we like to like engage with each other. But usually we'll sit and chat after that and just like hang out. for a little bit. And I stay up really late. That's how I read a lot. So like when he goes to bed, I will read a lot. He also plays video games and he also reads. So like quality time for us is us both sitting on this couch together or sitting up in bed and reading together, or him like playing his games when I'm like sitting next to him and reading. That is a form of like, that's a love language for both of us, is to be able to spend quality time together in silence. And then we travel together. We do like one little staycation a month. And yeah, so we do really value quality time. I just read a lot. I stay up really late reading. If you think of like any times like people typically watch TV, is when I'd just be reading. Are there any taboo tropes that you secretly like reading? I don't secretly read anything. I lay it all out there. Like I'm laying it all out there. So no, I'm not secretly loving anything like, but taboo tropes that I do love, that I openly love, ex-boyfriend's dad, love that. I love a good age gap. I don't know. I have no idea. Similar to something that I've like answered earlier, but how does reading glorious book boyfriends affect your relationship? It affected mine. When someone asked me if I compared my book boyfriends to Jack, and I said, well, like he is my book boyfriend. It took me a while to find that person that treats me how I deserve in a more realistic way, and it treats me in a way that like reminds me of like sometimes how girls would be treated in books. But I also, those are books. Like it's still fiction. So like I don't compare my life completely ever, or people in my life or things, to fiction, because it is still fiction. Like a lot of these men are glamorized in a sense. I mean, men written by women, right? Like it's still a fictional book, so it's the ideal. It's perfection, and like we're talking about humans here. So I've never really like put my book boyfriends on that pedestal of comparison. I just have like things that I want in a man and know that I deserve in a man, or whoever your partner is, man or woman. And that's what I use for like, and did use for guiding who I wanted to be with and who I deserved and what I was looking for. As someone who was in a long-term, like physically, sexually, emotionally abusive relationship and spending so many years alone because of that, it does take a lot of growth and work to understand like what you want, what you deserve, and what you're willing to invest your time in. Relationships are a lot of work. So I was like, I'll be damned if I put myself through something even remotely similar to that again. So I don't know if that answered your question. An unpopular opinion that I totally stand by, it's like an unpopular book opinion. I think you can read a book once and not like it, and then try and pick it up later and absolutely love it. I don't know if that's unpopular opinion though. People were like attacking me because I picked up Red Rising again. The first time around, I actually did DNF it because I could not get into it. I could not get in. Darrow and I, that we were not vibing. Sci-fi was not for me at that point in time. As a chronic mood reader, like there are books that I will pick up and set aside for a later date because it's just not the right mood. But people were like telling me that I was faking my review of Red Rising because I didn't like it the first time. I'm like, this is news to me. I'm just a chronic mood reader. An unpopular opinion, maybe. I cannot stand, I'm so over the romantasy books where there is like a fake first love interest. I hate them. It ruins it for me when you're just waiting for now it's just so done, and you're waiting for the annoying first love interest to leave because you've already been introduced to the actual love interest. I'm so over that. I think love triangles are overdone and predictable and lack romance. I don't know. I would have to sit on my unpopular opinions. A lot of people have been asking me to do a Boston meetup. I don't know. I'm going to have to do a Q&A because I don't know how many people, I don't know what I need to do to go about that. Like, I would definitely be open to it. I'm like, would anyone show up? Like, what do I need to do? Like, what if people don't come? But I will look into it. Most immersive, unputdownable series you've ever read? Probably Throne of Glass and Red Rising that I'm reading right now. What do I listen to when I read? I listen to brown noise. Or I'll listen to I'll search on Spotify. Like if I'm reading a fantasy book, I'll just do like immersive fantasy reading music, like background ambiance music or something like that. That's about it though. I'm gonna have to do a part 2 because I just feel like I literally have to go. Like I can't even keep filming anymore because I have to leave. So I will do a part 2. This was just part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. When am I gonna do it? I'll save these questions for part 2 at a later date. I feel like that was like kind of all over the place, but I had fun. I hope you learned some more things about me, and hopefully these are some questions that I answered that I don't typically answer. But yeah, that's it. I have nothing else to say. I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize how time went by that fast. This was so fun. Wait, I want to do that again. Okay, I literally have to go. Go be horizontal. Go be flat. Go get a good book. Ignore the outside world because nothing else matters. I have nothing else to say.